What's up, guys? Welcome back to another lecture. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the two most important things that everybody needs or that everybody needs to understand in order to become a patient day trader, in order to master patience in day trading. Because I know a lot of people struggle with this, and this honestly needs to be talked about because 99% of trading is literally being able to sit on your hands and not trade. Like, just sit on your hands, sit and just watch the charts for an hour, hour and a half, and not place a single trade when your setup does not appear. That is what is going to make you profitable. Not anything else, not your model, not how well you manage your risk, none of this stuff, right? This all comes after the fact that you are able to consistently wake up every single day, and if you don't see your system, if you don't see anything that looks great or that doesn't fit your model, you are not going to execute. You are not going to press that button. So the two most important, or the two big problems that traders deal with are, number one, dopamine addiction. A lot of you guys have struggled or are still struggling with a addiction to dopamine, whether that be through social media or honestly anything in life that you just get instantly, just like that, right? Instant dopamine rush to your brain, and that is going to 100% translate to your trading, because in trading, it is so easy to get that dopamine rush, right? Just with the click of a button, you see numbers spike up and spike down. You don't even care about anything else. All you want to see is green, and that is a big problem, because when you consistently do this, right? When you consistently do this, you're not going to be chasing a win rate. You're not going to be chasing probabilities. You're not going to be chasing stats, data, any of that stuff. The only thing that you are focused on in that moment, when you're breaking all of your rules, when you're not following any sort of criteria, any sort of system, the only thing that you're chasing is the green. You're only chasing the money. And over time, you realize that you cannot become profitable with that, right? You will lose more than you win. And if you keep doing this consistently, you actually won't even realize that you're losing more than you're winning, because your brain is so tuned, your brain is so wired into just the gambling, the excitement that you get from gambling, the instant dopamine, the instant rush of dopamine that you get when you win a trade that you weren't even supposed to take in the first place. And now it doesn't even become anything related to trading at this point, because that is not trading, and you know that as well. It just becomes an easier way to gamble, right? Most of you guys are around my age. I'm 19 years old. You guys are either 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Obviously, if you're 21 and up, you can gamble. But, if you don't have a proper system in place, if you are not following your rules on a consistent basis, if you're not being patient, if you're not sitting on your hands, then prop firms are just another way to gamble. Trading is just an easier access point, an easier entry point to gamble legally, right? You might as well just wait till you turn 21, go to a casino, go all in on red, and lose all your money. That's honestly a faster way than edging yourself every day by putting yourself through stressful ass situations and over time slowly losing money day by day. Slowly losing money and slowly depleting everything that you have, all the money that you have, and everything that you own to some point. Because I've heard people talk about or tell me that they've sold things in their life. Genuinely, they've sold possessions with value, with actual monetary value, in order to afford prop firm accounts, in order to afford evaluations. If you get to that point, I'm telling you, if you get to that point, it is very, very, very difficult to get out of that spot. It's almost near impossible to get out of that spot. Because once you've gotten to that point where you're selling materialistic items, when you're selling your own possessions that you've bought previously in order to afford evaluation accounts, it's not even about trading at that point. It is just straight gambling. You cannot go a day without gambling a prop firm account. And if that is you, you need to do a hard reset. There is no other way around it. okay? One thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to dopamine addiction is screen time, social media, right? A lot of people around my age, again, watching this video, and a lot of you guys struggle with dopamine addiction through social media, through your phone. And you guys probably don't even realize it. I was also one of those people that would just doom scroll every single day without fail, and I would get absolutely nothing done with my life, and I was still trading at the same time. And I'd ask myself, wait, why am I not seeing progress in trading? Well, maybe because I'm absolutely doing nothing outside of trading at all, right? I'm not taking care of myself. I was not taking care of myself. I was doom scrolling. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't doing anything consistent with my life. So why would I expect myself to be consistent in day trading? Why would I expect myself to be consistent with the model? Why would I expect myself to, consistently follow a model and see results out of it? I was back testing. Yeah, I was back testing. Sure. I was collecting data. There were times where, I had like a 75% win rate and I had over 200 trades collected. But as soon as I hopped onto the live markets, I wasn't able to replicate it because I couldn't wait. I could not be patient. And where does that stem from? My problem with doom scrolling, my problem with not having any sort of routine outside of my life that I was actually consistent in. And that's when I started to cut off literally majority of things that were instantly triggering a dopamine response in my brain. Social media, what did I do? I set a screen time limit. Okay, I set a screen time limit. I went into my settings, put a screen time limit for an hour a day on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and I promise you, if you're able to stick with that, your quality of life will become so much better. This isn't even about trading at this point. This is just talking about your quality of life. And yes, this will directly correlate to your trading as well. But even more important than trading is your quality of life. You become a much happier person. All you have to do is be consistent with that one thing. And it's not even that hard. If you cannot be consistent with setting a screen time limit for an hour a day on Instagram and TikTok, how do you expect yourself to be consistent over years and years and years and years and years worth of time in day trading? It just won't happen. That's not how life works. Now, when you set a screen time limit, okay, when you set a screen time limit through, Apple phones, once you hit that hourly daily limit or whatever daily limit that you put, you get a notification that pops up. Screen time limit hit, and then it gives you two options, right? Ignore for today, or, remind me in 15 minutes. You get basically an extra 15 minutes added of time, or I think, those are just really the only two things, right? After the 15 minutes, you get the same notification again. It's either you exit the app or, ignore for today. So that basically gives you complete freedom to do whatever you want, or remind me in 15 minutes again, right? Same thing with trading. You have two options every single day. You can either execute or you don't execute. It's as simple as that. Relate the screen time to your actual trading. If your setup does not appear at all, exit the app. Don't do remind me in 15 minutes. Don't do any of that bullshit, right? Don't do ignore for today. Don't do that. Exit the app. And even if you can't do that, there are prop firms, there are trading platforms like Project X that will hold you accountable. You don't need anybody else to hold you accountable. And this trading platform can hold you accountable, and that is Project X. We have so many tools. In today's age in order to just be able to become a completely disciplined trader. And so many people do not utilize it. All you have to do is go on Project X, the trading platform, right, where you trade your evaluation, your express account, your funded account, whatever. Go to your settings and then set a trade limit, a daily trade limit of 1 or 2 trades a day. After those trades are hit, what that does is it locks your account. So that's basically a screen time limit. It's the same thing with your phones for social media apps or any apps that you want to block. It's basically just another screen time limit. So after your 2 trades are hit for the day, you're locked out of your account. You can't place any more trades. It's really as simple as that. And if you cannot even hold yourself accountable to that, I promise you, you will never make it in trading. This is not for you. It is so simple. All you have to do is set that 2 trade limit a day or 1 trade limit a day. I prefer 1 trade if you're unprofitable, if you haven't made any money, and you clearly understand that you have a psychological issue. Now, on top of that, what this forces you to do is be patient. Why does it force you to be patient? Because you understand, you have this thought in your brain, right? It is registered in your brain that you have 1 or 2 trades in a day, so you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to waste that 1 or 2 opportunities that you have in a day on some horrible setup, on some setup that does not align with your system, on some completely random position, right? And just let the fate play its cards or whatever, right? Let fate do its thing. That's not what you're going for. Now, over time, yes, you're going to take losses, but what are you going to do about it? You cannot do anything about it, and that is the beauty of a trade limit. That is what forces you to become a patient trader. You have no if, and, or buts about it. All you have to do is just press a button every single day that says, okay, I'm going to lock my risk settings for the day. It is a big red button. So what that also does is that it prevents you from going back into your settings and removing that trade limit. All you have to do is press that 1 red button every single day. Set an alarm, set a reminder, but that is a non-negotiable. You should be doing that, and if you're not doing that, quit trading. You have these tools literally handed to you on a silver platter, and you're telling me you cannot be a patient trader? That makes absolutely no sense. And again, it is all in your hands as well. No matter what I say, no matter what anybody else says, will be able to influence you to actually make that active change in your life that you know that is necessary for you. A lot of people, also including me, learned it the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way. I had to go through the boom and bust cycle where I was on top of the world, making a shit ton of money, a crazy amount of money, especially earlier in the year. And I thought I was invincible, right? I thought I could never lose. And then that one loss hit, and then I spiraled. The next month was my worst month ever. I lost around $75,000 in prop firm profits on my funded accounts across 5 accounts. So that's $15,000 per account. I lost all of it in one day. So that brings me to my other point. You can go 29 days of following your rules. 29 days of following your rules. And all it takes is 1 day to fuck everything up. 1 day to mess everything that you've worked for. Mess up everything that you've worked for. And I've had so many people come up to me, ask me questions, and share their stories saying that, dude, I was 1 day away from a payout, 2 days away from a payout, and I blew it all in 1 day. Trading is one of these professions where you have to be on your A game every single day. There is no exception to it. Okay, you need to be on edge every single day, or if you give yourself the opportunity to slip up, you will pay the price. You will face the consequences. And for some of you guys, this is much needed. You guys need to go through this in order to improve as a trader and in order to become more patient, right? As long as you're learning from your mistakes. That is the most important part. You blow maybe 5 figures worth of profits in a day. What do you do after that? You reflect. You don't just give up. You don't just end up gambling a bunch of evaluation accounts after because out of straight rage, out of straight fury. No, you take this time to reflect on what you did wrong because obviously you should be journaling all your trades, right? Right? No, you guys don't journal your trades. That's the problem. Some of you guys that are watching this video, you guys don't journal your trades and you guys have nothing to reflect on. Even when you have days where you just completely crash out, you still lose control, you journal it because you reflect on it. You go back, you reflect, you understand what you did wrong in this day, on this day, in the same scenario, and you make sure you don't repeat that same thing again. And as long as you're learning from your mistakes, you will become more patient over time. Now, another quick thing, the last thing that I want to talk about is a confidence issue, right? I didn't really touch up much about it. I was talking more about dopamine this entire video. But I want to talk about how people have a lack of self-confidence. All right? A lot of you guys aren't confident in your life, in anything that you do, and not even in trading. Okay? You know, you're afraid to talk in public, you're afraid to talk to people, you're afraid to, I don't know, express your emotions or whatever. That's not really that big of a deal, but you guys get what I'm talking about. If you're not confident in yourself as a person, how do you expect to be confident in something completely random as a trading strategy that you basically have no sort of personal connection to, right? You're just learning it from someone. You see it on YouTube, or, you know, you pay for like a mentorship service or whatever. You take whatever that person is teaching you. You don't have any sort of connection to it, and you think you can be consistent with it, and you think you have confidence in it, when you have no actual sort of resonating feature. If you understand what I'm trying to say, you don't actually understand if this is your trading style or not. That's what I actually meant to say, right? You're not confident in it because you don't actually understand if this is the way you want to trade or not. And how are you going to understand if this is your style of trading or not? Again, through back testing. That's the only way. I've said this in so many videos. It's through back testing. You collect data, you understand if you're actually comfortable, if you're actually confident in trading this model and trading this strategy, and then you develop some sort of personal connection to it, right? You see the success and you say, hey, this is how exactly I want to trade. And then once you have that light bulb that goes off, right? Once you have that realization that, hey, this is exactly how I want to trade, I have the stats to back it up, I have the win rate, I have everything that I need. Now, all you have to do is just consistently execute it. And that shouldn't be a problem. Once you become confident, there's no problem at all. And that's the problem. A lot of you guys are not confident. Do routines, have routines outside of trading to make yourself more of a confident person in life. Go to the gym, build your physique, eat good food, talk to people. Some of you guys actually don't even do this, and you guys think that you can just hop into a $1 trillion profession where all the odds are stacked against you, and you think you guys can make it in a field like this. I'm the same age as you, by the way. I'm the same exact age as some of you guys watching this video. And I'm telling you guys all of the things that you guys should be knowing yourselves, right? You guys should be implementing on a daily basis. And if you're not doing that, you have to ask yourself, what is actually stopping you from doing it? Is it yourself? It probably is yourself. So stop making excuses and actually do the things that are necessary in order to see success in this field.